Welcome back to English Unlocked, the podcast where we break down all things English to help you become more fluent, confident, and unstoppable. I am the teacher, your host, and today we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for so many English learners. Why do so many people struggle to learn English? That's an important question. But don't worry, it's not your fault. There are so many myths out there that confuse people and hold them back from learning. So today, Lucy and I will bust five of the biggest myths about learning English and, of course, give you real solutions you can start using today.
Hi everyone, Lucy here, and let me tell you, some of these myths are going to blow your mind. So grab a notebook or just sit back and relax because we're about to get started.
Right. And remember to stick around till the end because we will be sharing a fun, interactive exercise to help you break free from these myths for good. Let's get started. Let's start with one of the most common myths. I need to live in an English speaking country to learn English. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. You really believe in this yourself. So many people have told me this. So, what do you think of this, Lucy?
That's a big one. People think they need to move to London, New York, or Sydney to learn English properly. But is that really true?
Not at all. Sure, living in an English speaking country can help, but it's not the only way or even the best way. Think about this. There are people who live in English speaking countries their whole lives and still struggle with the language. Why? Because they don't actively practice.
Exactly. And on the flip side, there are millions of learners around the world who have never set foot in an English-speaking country but are fluent.
Definitely. Thanks to technology, you can immerse yourself in English from anywhere. Watch English movies, listen to podcasts like this one, for example, join online language groups, or even talk to AI assistants if you have them on your phone.
And don't forget apps too. There are so many applications that you can use on your phone or on the laptop that can help you a lot, learning English. You don't need a plane ticket, you just need commitment.
I totally agree with you, Lucy. But now let's move on to myth number two. I am too old to learn a new language. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this one.
Oh, same here. It's like people think learning is only for kids. But let me ask you this. Have you ever met an older person who picked up a new skill, like playing the guitar or cooking a new dish?
Oh, yeah, of course, definitely. Research shows that adults can learn just as well as kids. It's just that we approach learning differently. Kids learn by absorbing everything around them, while adults benefit from understanding the why behind things.
Plus, adults have better discipline and study habits, so instead of saying I'm too old, try saying I'm experienced and ready to learn.
I love that. And hey, if you're listening and think you're too old, let me remind you of Benny Lewis, a famous polyglot who started learning languages in his 20s. And now he can speak over 10 languages fluently. Age is just a number.
That is crazy, the teacher. That's amazing. I never heard of that one.
Well, trust me, if you want to learn, you can easily do it. All right, now, here's a big one though. Listen to this. I need perfect grammar to speak fluently. Lucy, what do you think about this myth?
I think it's a trap. People get so focused on grammar that they freeze up when they try to speak. Have you seen that?
All the time. I always tell my students communication is about being understood, not about being perfect. Think about this. When you're listening to someone, do you notice every little grammar mistakes they make?
Not at all. And honestly, native speakers make grammar mistakes too. Nobody's perfect.
Exactly. So instead of aiming for perfect grammar, focus on speaking naturally. Use simple sentences and build confidence. Grammar can be improved over time. Now, for the next one, I have to memorize thousands of words. Lucy, does that sound familiar?
Yes, a lot of learners think they need to know every single word in a dictionary, but that's impossible and unnecessary. You don't really need that.
Absolutely. Think about it. Even native speakers don't know every word in the dictionary. What matters is learning the most useful words for your goals.
For example, if you're learning English for travel, focus on travel-related vocabularies. And if it's for work, focus on professional terms. So that's how it works. Just focus on your goals.
And here's a tip for our listeners, Lucy. Practice words in context, not in isolation. Instead of memorizing apple, orange, and banana, practice a sentence like, I'd like to buy some apples and bananas. It's more practical and helps you remember better. Finally, let's tackle the myth that stops so many learners. I'll never sound like a native speaker. What do you think about this one, Lucy?
I think this one is heartbreaking because it's based on misunderstanding. Fluency doesn't mean sounding like a native. It means being able to communicate confidently.
Exactly. Your goal shouldn't be to sound like someone else. Instead, focus on being clear and authentic. And remember, accents are part of your identity.
Plus, many people find accents charming. What matters most is that people understand you.
Well said, Lucy. And hey, if you're listening and worried about your accent, let me remind you, some of the best public speakers in English have accents. It's your message that counts. Now, time for our interactive exercise. Are you ready for this one? Because this exercise will be amazing. Think about one myth we discussed today. Which one do you believe the most? Write it down and then write one small step you will take to overcome it.
And if you're feeling brave, share your answer in the comments. We would love to hear from you.
That's it for today's episode. Did any of these myths surprise you? Let us know. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, keep learning and stay confident.
Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode with English Unlocked.